Hi guys, what is going on and welcome to today's YouTube video. In today's video we are going to discuss the current state of Bitcoin, which in my opinion is looking pretty bullish right now. If we quickly open up my Twitter account, we can see that yesterday we got this huge pump towards the upside after we got a huge dip on Monday. We know that those Monday moves can never be trusted. We had a lot of FUD going on with Binance and also yesterday with Coinbase being sued by the SEC. And we can see that if I go to my profile, yesterday I also told you guys, Bitcoin is sticking to my high time frame plan I have drawn weeks ago. Retest of the mid-range is now taking place and we are forming a falling wedge as well. Not the time to get bearish in my opinion. And what happened? We got a huge bounce from the lower low trend line of the falling wedge. And right now we are close to retesting the lower high trend line for the fourth time. And usually when you retest it for the fourth time, that is when you see a breakout towards the upside. Also, if we look at the volume, we can see that while we are forming this falling wedge, the volume was going lower and lower and lower. Now we are seeing a little bit of a volume spike. Where do we see that volume spike? At the lower low trend line. And that means that this dip was definitely being bought up. And that is the reason why that volume is a little higher. And we know that if the volume is going lower and lower and lower while the falling wedge is being formed, it is a sign that the falling wedge is a valid one. Do I have a trade pattern? No, but it can give me good direction where to look at, okay? And in this case, in my opinion, we are still bullish. I've explained my high time frame scenario for Bitcoin multiple times. We are simply trading this range over here. If I switch to the right range over here, we are trading the range until it breaks. And right now we have seen an inch perfect retest of the mid-range. You can watch back my high time frame update on Bitcoin a few weeks ago, and I told you guys that I would be looking to buy over here and I would never be bearish against the mid-range. Why? Because we have had a deviation from the range low, and after deviation from the range low, you test the mid-range, and if you then gain the mid-range, which we did over here, we consolidated above it, there's a very high probability of visiting the range high and taking the liquidity from the range high. And I do think that in the upcoming weeks, that is what Bitcoin is going to do. Yes, this might be a trap that we created a bullish engulfing candlestick over here. And maybe we see one more sweep and some more chop around here before we go up. I would not be surprised, to be very honest. But I also see a bullish engulfing candlestick on the daily time frame from a very strong area of support. And that is not something that we want to ignore. In confluence with that falling wedge pattern, I do think there is a high possibility that the bottom for Bitcoin is in currently, that we are going to continue our way towards the upside, towards that range high. Now, obviously, you guys are probably wondering, how do I get myself into a solid position right here to profit during that move towards the upside? You have to know that after these daily bullish engulfing candlesticks, there is a decent possibility of a pretty decent pullback within the next candlestick. So what we want to do, we want to mark out those levels where we are potentially interested in potential long position. What we want to do first is mark out the range low, which is this entire area over here, okay? So over here is where we found that resistance, and after we found resistance over there, we found support a lot of times over here, and then it became huge support once again over here. And that is also the area that we don't want to lose. This was a deviation below this intraday range low. We tested a high time frame mid-range, and now we got to look for an entry on the retest of that range low. Okay, if we lose this range low, we're probably going to visit this low over here. And that is not something that we want to see, because then we will just get some more chop. We also see that on the 1 hourly time frame, we got a beautiful sweep of the low right here. After that sweep of that low, we got a break of structure with momentum right here. Classic reversal pattern. Told you guys so many times, also confluence with the bullish divergence over here. This is a classic reversal pattern. If this is our first wave, we know that our second wave usually retraces back towards the golden Fibonacci ratio or the 0.786, before starting the third impulse towards the upside. So if we're going to go from swing low to swing high, I want to switch on our fib levels, excluding the 0.236 and the 0.382. Also the 0.5, pretty interesting. On the 4-hourly time frame, we can see we had a huge hour 4 fair value gap over here. And we want to see that one at least get filled for 50%. And we can see that around the full fill of that hour 4 fair value gap is also where we have the golden Fibonacci ratio. The 0.5 fib level is aligning with that hour 4 fair value gap as well. And if we go lower with the 0.786 fib level, aligning with this order block over here. Okay, so I think there are three potential areas that we want to watch for a potential bounce. It is the 0.5 fib level, it is the golden Fibonacci ratio, and it is the 0.786 fib level. We don't want to lose this area, then we will visit this low over here. But as long as we hold on to either one of these levels, and especially this range low over here, I do expect a $32,000 to get tagged for Bitcoin. Now, what can we see as well? We can mark out some high time frame levels, obviously. I do think that this daily level over here is quite important. Why? Because over here you put in a daily level, but afterwards you also quickly wick it over here before you start this impulse. So in my opinion, that is a key level, and that key level, if we then go back on the 1-hourly time frame, is also aligning it with our 0.5 fib level. If we want to define our entry points on the lower time frames, we can see that on the 2-minute, we also have a little bit of a hiccup over here around the daily level, around the 0.5, which is nice confluence. We have a big hiccup over here around the golden Fibonacci ratio. That is beautiful confluence, and around the 0.786 is also where we have a little bit of a hiccup. So those hiccups on lower time frame means that there's something going on around those levels, and that is pretty nice confluence, in confluence with those fib levels, and in confluence, like I said, with that higher time frame range low. And that is especially the area that we do not want to lose for Bitcoin. Like I said, I do think there's a decent possibility that we will see some more chop around this area. So maybe chop around here for a little bit, maybe do something like this, a range. And then if we form some kind of a range over here, I think that will be the moment for me where I'm going to start setting limit orders around this area with my invalidation below this low, and my target being $32,000 and $450. Okay, but like I said, I want to see some more chop. I want to see some more ranging. Maybe sweep this low, go up, tap the imbalance, chop around for a little bit more, and then if we establish that range, if we have established our sell-side liquidity, that will be the moment for me where I'm going to say, okay, now I'm going to set some limit orders around this area, and around this area, with my invalidation below this low, targeting the range high. What would it look like? First entry probably around this area, top below the low. Second entry around this, top below the low. And the third entry around this area, top below the low. Now we are going to look at our target on the higher time frame, which remains the same, that range high over here. That's an RR 5.9 from the first entry, an RR of 8 from the second entry, and also an RR of 14 from the third entry. Very, very nice RR trades, high probability trades if you ask me as well. But like I said, guys, I want to see some more ranging over here first. I want to see some more consolidation, create some sell-side liquidity below those lows. That is where we sweep them. That is where we enter before the pump towards the upside happens. Understood? If you guys do understand, there's no reason for you to ask me any questions. But if you guys don't understand this yet, please let me know in the comments down below or hit me up on Twitter. All of the links can be found in the description, including the link to our free Discord server where you can be part of the best community out there. If you guys do have any questions, like I said, hit me up. And otherwise, I will see you guys on Friday's video. Ciao, ciao.